The unexpected woman he dismissed reveals the heartwarming man behind the millionaire monster. Jake Reynolds stood above Maplewood, his cold gaze surveying the town from his high-rise office. Here, among the shimmering towers, he wore his tailored suits like armor, exuding power and indifference. A millionaire, yes, but he was no hero. He navigated the luxury real estate market with a ruthless efficiency that earned him respect but left many feeling like mere pawns in his game. To him, compassion was a weakness, and the less fortunate were just shadows passing through his world. On the other side of Maplewood, Anna wore grease stains from her shifts at the diner, serving breakfast to families and sharing laughter with the children filling the booths. At 28, she balanced her job with caring for her ill grandmother, seeing beauty in the little things while navigating life's storms. Her radiant spirit and unwavering hope gave her an air of resilience, painting a stark contrast against Jake's polished, cold exterior. The tension bubbled at the community fundraiser for veterans where their paths first crossed. Joyful chatter surrounded them, creating an electric atmosphere, but Jake's disinterest was palpable. He stood aloof, sipping overpriced wine, while families shared stories of bravery and sacrifice. Anna flitted from table to table, her laughter like music, effortlessly connecting with the vibrant heart of the community he had long dismissed. A fleeting moment, their eyes locked, and for a second, curiosity flickered in Jake's heart. But he quickly turned away, dismissing her with a scoff at the thought of a waitress engaging him. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. When Anna was invited to a corporate meeting to discuss a local initiative, an odd decision for someone like her, Jake felt the sting of arrogance rise within. What does she know about business, he thought, as he listened to her voice raised above the meeting room, full of conviction and hope for saving the local school. Outraged at his presumptuousness, Anna's determination ignited a fire in her supporters. But as the school faced closure, the laughter around them turned into whispers of concern. Anna rallied the community, leveraging her deep-rooted connections. Meanwhile, Jake remained detached, mired in negotiations that felt hollow. Yet, the stakes grew, and Anna's relentless spirit began to awaken something deep within him, the remnants of a compassion long buried under layers of ambition. As the crisis intensified, Jake's carefully curated image began to unravel. Gossip spread like wildfire. Revelations of his own fractured childhood stirred emotions he had tried so hard to suppress. His cold facade cracked under the weight of guilt and privilege, forcing him to confront the reality of how he viewed success and worth. In this chaotic swirl, Anna's light shone even brighter, challenging him and the town as they both stood at a crossroads. The question loomed heavy: could he shed the monster label that haunted him? Would he learn from Anna's fierce determination? As doubt and hope tangled, the ground beneath them shook, setting the stage for a reckoning that neither of them could escape. The town held its breath, waiting for a resolution that could heal or shatter the fragile bonds they had all built together. What would happen next? A choice loomed, poised to change everything. Jake paced inside his towering office, the glass walls offering an unparalleled view of Maplewood's skyline, yet narrowing his world into the confines of cold ambition. The whispers in the community were louder now, each one grounding him further into a reality he'd spent years architecting. He could almost feel the weight of Anna's assertive presence from the meeting, the way she spoke with such passion, as if each word was a battle cry for the children of Maplewood. Suddenly, he remembered the hopeful spark in her eyes when she addressed the room about the school. That spark lingered in him like a ghost, refusing to let go. It wasn't anger or frustration he felt, it was something far more disconcerting. Could it be admiration? He had never made time for emotions like those. It was easier to view things through the lens of profit and loss, detached, numb. But now, with every gossip he heard about the impending school closure, threads of doubt started weaving their way into his mind. This wasn't just business anymore. It was personal. Anna was relentless. With her fiery passion, she transformed her fear into strength, insisting that they could rally the community. Even now, at the diner, the laughter and chatter of families echoed in her mind, blending with the weight of responsibility she felt. Each worried glance she caught from her grandmother's face pushed her to fight harder and raise her voice louder. Rushing home after a long shift, she sat at the table cluttered with bills and medical pamphlets about caregivers. The love for her grandmother fueled her resolve. How could she possibly let the school close? It wasn't just a building, it was a sanctuary for children, a place where dreams began. "Jake Reynolds, you don't know what you're missing," she muttered, her heart heavy but her spirit unyielding. If only he could see what she saw, feel the heartbeat of the town instead of merely navigating through it like a detached observer. She found herself at the park the next day after work, where parents gathered, children played, and the life of the community thrived. Merging into the crowd, Anna's energy was infectious as she spoke openly about plans, giving them hope amidst despair. Drawn in by her spirit, families began sharing their stories, their fears, their dreams. As they rallied together, a flicker of connection illuminated Anna's heart. Could it be that Jake would join them too? Unbeknownst to her, Jake had decided to attend the next community meeting. Overwhelmed by his need to understand the rift between them, he purposefully arrived late. But as he took a seat in the back, his heart pounded when he observed Anna, unwavering and radiant, amidst the chaos of emotions swirling around her. He realized, for the first time, that he was no longer just an entity in the rich business world. Here, people breathed life into what truly mattered. The tears in their eyes weren't just liabilities on a spreadsheet, they were real, tangible hardships woven into the fabric of Maplewood itself. As Anna wrapped up her speech, she caught sight of him, standing in shadows, seemingly captivated. Instead of fear or anger, she felt a profound urge to challenge him, to break his defenses. "Jake," she called out, "it's time to choose. Will you keep standing on the sidelines or step into the game?" Those words lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken possibilities. Both of them stood at the precipice of transformation, poised for what was to come. But as Jake's heart raced, he knew this choice wouldn't merely affect him, it could change everything for a town that had long felt forgotten. He took a deep breath, ready to step forward. What he would say next might shatter the walls he'd built around him or grant him a glimpse of freedom. Jake's feet felt heavy as he stepped forward, the murmurs of the crowd fading into a distant hum. All eyes were on him, yet Anna's gaze held a particular weight. It was as if she was daring him to breach the divide that had separated them for so long. With every heartbeat, he felt the urge to confront the doubt swirling in his mind. "Anna," he called out, his voice shaky but resolute. The way her name rolled off his tongue felt different, charged, as if he were summing up years of indecision. This time, she didn't flinch. Instead, her expression softened, a flicker of hope ignited in her eyes. "Jake." Her voice cut through the conversations, drawing the crowd's attention like moths to light. "You're here." "I am," he said, his throat tightening. "And I need to understand. Why this school? Why now?" The question echoed, heavy and sincere, pressing him to delve deeper. Anna stepped closer, her heart racing. "Because it's more than just a building. It's a chance for our kids, it's their future." Her voice broke slightly, a vulnerability that resonated through the gathered crowd. "These walls hold laughter, learning, love, everything that shapes our children into who they'll become. Without it, we're losing a piece of ourselves. You know that, don't you?" Jake's mind was a whirlwind of conflicting thoughts. Memories of his childhood, not one marked by struggle, but by opportunity, flickered like old film in his mind. He had taken those moments for granted. "But there's a cost," he countered, feeling the tension in his gut. "A price that has to be paid." "There's always a cost, Jake," Anna shot back, her voice steady, "but the real question is, what are we willing to pay for? A little extra on the bottom line? Or the well-being of our children and neighbors? The crowd reacted to her words, an undercurrent of agreement creating a wave of energy. Jake could see it in their faces, fear, hope, desperation, and determination tangled together, painted against the canvas of their community. He felt the sudden urge to defend his position, to cling to the security that wealth and power brought. Yet, that need battled with an unfamiliar stirring in his heart, a longing to be part of something greater than himself. Have you ever considered how it feels to fight for something you believe in? She continued, her voice softer but just as strong. The kind of fight that sees you rallying families together, believing that they can make a change. Anna took a breath, letting her words wash over him. You could change that. We could change that. If you just believed in us for once. Jake was silent as he seemed to feel the collective breaths of the crowd, all waiting, hoping. The heaviness in his chest crumpled under the weight of their anticipation. He met Anna's gaze and saw the fire in her eyes, not just for her community, but flickering with the bond they once shared, full of potential yet marred by lost time. The truth of her words hit him like a jolt. Was he ready to let go of his old self to embrace a new path? Just then, a child called out from the side, breaking the tension. Mr. Reynolds, do you want to help us save our school? Jake felt the eyes of the crowd shift back to him, an overwhelming force that pushed him to speak. He started, swallowing hard, the taste of uncertainty becoming more familiar. I want to understand. A surprised murmur rippled through the group. Anna's smile broke free like sunlight breaking through clouds. It was a beginning, a chance to bridge the gap. Yet, as he looked into her hopeful expression, he wondered if he was ready for the sacrifices that would come with this new journey. He took a step back, heart racing, aware that the choice he just made wasn't just about the school anymore. It was about who he was and who he could become. The implications loomed large, and Jake felt the familiar anxiety creep in. As that uncertainty washed over him, Jake glanced around at the faces around him. They waited for him, not as a businessman, but as someone willing to fight alongside them for a future they all believed in. What have I gotten myself into? He thought, trembling slightly under the weight of his own resolve. But before he could ponder further, a voice broke through. Will you help us, Mr. Reynolds? We're counting on you. The echo of those words lingered, stoking the embers of change within him, and he stood at the edge, ready to leap. Would he be the man Maplewood needed? Jake's heart raced as he stood at the crossroads, an unexpected hero or just another man clinging to the past. The murmurs of the crowd seemed to nudge him closer to the edge. Could he really step into Anna's world? Mr. Reynolds. The little voice cut through his thoughts again, insistent and bright. Jake turned toward the source, a small girl with pigtails, clutching a worn-out teddy bear. Her innocent eyes sparked something deep within him, a flicker of determination he hadn't felt in years. I promise, we'll do our best to save the school, she said, her face a mixture of hope and vulnerability. 1,000 thoughts ricocheted through Jake's mind. He wanted to turn away, to retreat to the comfort of his office and board meetings. But the warmth spreading in his chest wouldn't let him. What's your name? He asked, kneeling to her level. Lucy. The girl smiled, her trust in him palpable. Are you going to help us, Mr. Reynolds? We believe in you. Her simple belief was a challenge thrown right into his soul. Too many times, he lived in a world shaped by profit, numbers, and cold decisions. But maybe, just maybe, this was the wake-up call he needed. I'll do whatever I can, Lucy, he promised, standing up. The crowd reacted with a soft buzz of approval, a wave of relief washing over them. He could see it in Anna's eyes, too grateful, but still searching for his commitment. Don't change your mind, she whispered, urgency lacing her tone. The children need you on this journey. Yes, he said, his voice carrying the weight of the moment. I'll be there. With those words, Jake felt a small barrier within him begin to crack. The feeling of dread he'd been lugging around morphed into something lighter, something full of possibility. Yet, There lingered the hollow echo of doubt, the remnants of his past lingering like shadows. As they moved to discuss strategies, Jake found himself surprisingly engaged. The conversations flourished around him. Fundraising ideas, community meetings, and outreach projects took center stage. Each proposal resonated within him, a sense of purpose blooming that he had long forgotten. "Can we organize a bake sale?" someone suggested, generating a chorus of excitement. "I'll donate some materials," Jake interjected, surprising himself. "We could set up a booth." The crowd erupted in applause, Anna's eyes widening in disbelief. It was a small step, but he could feel he was inching closer to being part of something far more meaningful than mere profits. After the meeting, Anna approached him, her expression soft yet earnest. "You really mean it, don't you?" "I'm just beginning to realize how much I have to learn," Jake admitted, the honesty in his voice surprising them both. "I don't want to be the man I was before. I want to help." She smiled, the tension between them slowly dissipating. It was a moment of mutual understanding, a silent pact forming in the air. He would listen, learn, and grow. "Then let us get started," she replied, enthusiasm flooding her words. "There's a lot to do, and together, we can make a difference." Just as they began to outline their next steps, a sudden silence fell upon the crowd. Heads turned toward the horizon, where dark clouds were forming, tumbling ominously toward Maplewood. "What's that?" a voice called out, laced with worry. Jake squinted against the dimming sun. Was it just the weather, or was it a sign of the uncertainty that lay ahead? He couldn't shake the feeling that what was brewing in the skies mirrored the tempests of their own challenges. As murmurs of concern washed over the crowd, Jake felt an electric tension creep back in. Was he ready to navigate these storms alongside the community? Would he be able to weather the turbulence ahead? The stakes were rising, and just when he thought he might finally have a grasp on it all, the twist of fate demanded more of him than he was prepared to give. What awaited them as the clouds loomed ever closer? The sky darkened with each passing moment. A low rumble echoed in the distance, drawing uneasy glances from the gathered crowd. Jake felt the tension building, not just in the atmosphere but in his own chest as well. He had promised to help, but could he really carry that burden while storm clouds brewed overhead? "Everyone, please stay calm," Anna announced, her voice steady. She stood a few feet away, hands on her hips, determination illuminating her features. "Let us keep our focus. A storm won't stop us. We've got plans to put into action." She was right, panic wouldn't help them now. Jake felt a spark of admiration for Anna's strength. It ignited something inside him, a reminder that true leadership meant facing challenges head-on. "Let us regroup," he suggested, his voice gaining strength. "Maybe we can hold our first meeting at my office to brainstorm ideas more formally." The murmurs changed from worry to curiosity. "Your office?" a voice piped up. "Yeah, it's big enough to accommodate everyone. And we'll need all the minds we can muster if a storm is coming," Jake replied, surprising even himself with his boldness. The idea lit a fire in the crowd. Lucy bounced with excitement, clutching her teddy bear tighter. "Can I come too?" she asked, her eyes wide, filled with hope. "Of course, Lucy. Your ideas are as important as anyone else's," Jake smiled. He could feel the warmth of the moment, the sense that perhaps he was becoming a part of something bigger. As they discussed logistics, excitement overrode the initial fear of the storm. Anna took charge, directing the people toward handling the upcoming challenges. But beneath her confident exterior, Jake sensed a flicker of concern in her eyes, a hint that she feared he might falter under pressure. Hours passed, and when they finally dispersed for the day, Jake stepped outside into the cool air. The clouds seemed closer now, shadows skimming the pavement like a hungry wave ready to crash. He turned to Anna, who had stayed behind, watching the sky darken. "Do you really think we can make a difference?" he asked, vulnerability creeping into his voice. "Absolutely," Anna replied, her conviction unwavering. "But it takes more than just talk. Your heart has to be in it. Can you promise to show up for these kids? They need more than just a financial commitment, they need your belief in them. Jake's heart weighed down by those words. Could he really keep that promise? The shadows around him deepened, reflecting the doubts swirling in his mind. I'm trying, he confessed, looking for answers in her gaze. But I'm scared. What if I can't handle it? What if Jake, she interrupted, placing a reassuring hand on his arm. It's okay to be scared. You are taking a leap into the unknown. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. Look at Lucy. She chose to trust you, just like all of us are starting to. Her words struck him, breaking through the layers of doubt. Perhaps he wasn't as lost as he thought. I'll do my best, Anna. I promise, he vowed again, feeling a flicker of hope reignite. Just then, the first drops of rain began to fall, heavy and resolute, spattering against the pavement. The storm had finally arrived, bringing with it a cleansing wave, a purification of sorts. But what now? Anna asked, her brow furrowing as the sky erupted in a crack of lightning, a potent reminder of the challenges they faced. Jake looked at her, thoughts racing. We prepare. Together. It's just a storm, he said, exuding a newfound certainty. As the rain surged, so did his resolve to be the man he needed to be for this community. He would fight, alongside Anna and the others, against both the storm outside and the storms within. What would this unexpected journey reveal about the man he was becoming? The rain poured down like a symphony of chaos, each drop a reminder of the battle ahead. Jake felt the cold sting against his skin, but it fueled his determination. He turned back to Anna, her silhouette framed by the angry sky. We need to act quickly, he said, feeling the weight of urgency settle in his chest. Anna nodded, her expression serious. Let us get everyone together, share responsibilities. Communication is key. They huddled close as the thunder growled a warning from the sky. Jake's mind raced with thoughts of what lay ahead, but they felt lighter now, tinged with a sense of purpose. How about we split the kids into groups? Give each one a leader, his voice was more confident now. Great idea. Let us involve the parents too if they're around. We need everyone. The two of them moved from the protection of the awning into the heart of the downpour. The crowd, now soaked but resolute, looked to them. The children's laughter intermingled with the rain's rhythm, a stark contrast to the storm brewing in the sky. Lucy, still clutching her teddy bear, peered up at Jake, her eyes glinting with excitement. What can I do? She squeaked, her innocence shining through the tension. Help me gather everyone. Find your friends and bring them here, Jake replied, watching as her face lit up with determination. She darted off into the crowd, giggling as she splashed through puddles. As they organized, Jake caught sight of familiar faces in the crowd, parents and neighbors who had once turned away from him, their backs toward his financial empire. Now, they stood vulnerable but resolute against the storm. He realized this moment was crucial in reshaping their shared story, more than he ever expected. Anna leaned closer, her voice barely a whisper above the rain. You're doing it, Jake. Look at them. You're uniting this community. The warmth of her words wrapped around him. Jake smiled, feeling the swell of unity wash over him. The longer he spent in this downpour, the more he felt like a part of something worthwhile. Just then, the sky split with a blinding flash, and the thunder roared again. A few kids squealed and huddled closer to their parents. He could sense the fear creeping back. All right, everyone. He called out, his voice booming above the storm. Let us not forget our goal. We're going to stay together, work together, and we're going to ride this out. He emphasized the collective spirit with urgency, pouring out encouragement like the relentless rain. If we can embrace this storm, then nothing can shake us. The crowd began to cheer, a steady rhythm of hope rising against the pounding rainfall. Even Lucy joined in with her squeaky voice, inspiring others to join her. For the first time, he felt their collective strength was more formidable than any storm. But as the energy surged, doubt crept back in. Could he truly lead them through this? The idea lingered, a swirling question in his mind. "Jake, we need a plan for shelter," Anna said, breaking through his thoughts. His heart raced as he scanned the horizon, searching for a solution. Just then, he spotted the old community center, barely visible through the sheets of pouring rain. It stood sturdy, a beacon of hope amid chaos. "The center. We can head there," he shouted, pointing toward the building. As Jake moved to rally everyone, a shadow flickered in his periphery. It was one of the parents, Dan, a guy Jake hadn't seen beyond small talk at barbecues. "You think we can reach it?" Dan shouted, his expression guarded. "I know we can," Jake asserted, feeling an unusual sense of confidence surge through him. "Together." But the fear on Dan's face told a different story, one that gnawed at the edge of Jake's resolve. Would they really trust him? Could they depend on him to lead? The storm raged on, pushing against them. A feeling of uncertainty pressed heavy against his chest. Would he rise to the challenge? As they began to move toward the center, lightning cut through the sky a final time, leaving the community at the edge of something unknown. Jake felt the weight of their reliance pressing down. But was he ready to be the heartwarming man behind the millionaire monster? The question loomed, heavy and charged, as the wind howled in response. The pulse of rain swelled around them as Jake stood tall, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and purpose. Leading the group toward the community center felt like crossing a tightrope in a thunderstorm. Could he balance their trust on such shaky ground? "All right," he called out again, his voice cutting through the noise. "Stick together. Let us move." The crowd surged like a tide, the robust sound of splashing feet melding with the pattering rain. Lucy, now back at Jake's side, tugged at his pants leg. "I want to help," she shouted, her enthusiasm infectious. "You are helping. Stay close." Jake knelt down, his eyes level with hers. "We're all in this together." Her bright smile in the midst of turmoil warmed him, igniting a flicker of hope. Yet as they pushed forward, he noticed Dan lagging behind, anxiety etched on his face. Jake felt his throat tighten. Was it too much to ask for belief in him? Would this storm reveal his inadequacies just as the clouds unveiled their fury? Anna rejoined him, brushing rain from her forehead. "We're almost there. Just a little further," she urged, glancing back at the families braving the elements. The dim light from the center's windows beckoned like a lighthouse in a stormy sea, the promise of safety that sustained them. But the wind howled, a sharp reminder that they were still exposed. Just as they were nearing the center, another flash of lightning illuminated the crowd, revealing the fear in their eyes. Jake felt that fear wrap around him like a cold tide. "Keep going," he called, empty of doubt, pushing through the uncertainty. "We're not far now, we can do this." One step after another, they trudged through puddles that swallowed their shoes. The rain stung, but something else started to emerge. A community spirit began to build as individuals rallied around Jake, pushing forward with a shared will. Then, amidst a chorus of thunder, he felt a small hand slip into his. He turned to see Lucy gripping tight, her teddy bear almost swept away with the wind. "I'm scared." He knelt, eyes locked with her anxiety. "It's okay to be scared, Lucy. We're brave, remember. You're brave." Her grip tightened, and without speaking, he knew he had to fight through his own doubt for her sake. If he could give her strength, he could give it to the rest of them. He stood and continued to move forward, determination flowing through him. As they reached the community center's large double doors, Jake pushed them open, water pouring off him like a waterfall. The warmth from inside contrasted sharply with the chill of the outside world, inviting them into a sanctuary. "Come on. Everyone inside," he shouted, urging the families in. They stumbled in, dripping wet but exhilarated, cheeks flushed with the rush of survival. The sound of their laughter and chatter filled the once quiet space, transforming it into something alive. Jake turned, catching Anna's eye. A silent exchange of pride shot between them. The walls of isolation, once thick and heavy around him, began to crack under the weight of this new collective force. But then someone interrupted. It was Dan, his face pale. What now? What do we do next? A sudden sense of responsibility surged through Jake, overpowering the old shadows of doubt. Listen up, everyone. We'll take a moment to regroup, then we start assessing what we have. Water, food, supplies, we need to make a plan to weather this together. But as he spoke, the sound of rain intensified, merging with the heavy thuds of his heart. He glanced out the window, watching the storm rattle the earth. Something shifted in the air, an unspoken understanding that they were now woven into one story, bound by the storm outside. But as they chatted and planned, Jake couldn't shake the fear that snuck back in. Was he really ready to be the leader they needed? What if he faltered? What was waiting for them on the other side of this storm? He swallowed hard, the questions swirling like the storm outside, drawing him toward uncertainty. What was it about this moment that felt like the beginning of more than just survival? And in the midst of that uncertainty, the thunder rolled in again, deeper this time, as if the universe itself was warning them of an even greater challenge ahead. Jake glanced around the crowded community center, a mix of anxious and determined faces searching for leadership in his own. The flickers of the overhead lights dimmed, and a thick tension hung in the air, palpable as the humid heat clung to their clothes. He could feel the burden pressing upon him, heavier than any storm cloud overhead. Now, he started, trying to steady his shaking hands. First, let us find out who needs immediate help. His voice carried conviction, but inside, doubts wrestled with the authority he'd just claimed. As he looked at his neighbors, the weight of responsibility felt monumental. Anna moved closer, sensing the pulse of urgency radiating from him. I saw families with infants. We need to check for anyone with medical supplies, she suggested, her practicality grounding him. He nodded, grateful for her direction. Their camaraderie helped him hold on to that flicker of courage. Jake turned and called out, "Can anyone help me gather blankets and first aid kits? We need to set up a triage area for anyone injured or not feeling well." Responses trickled in from different corners of the gathering. "I saw some blankets in the back room," shouted a woman with tangled hair, relief evident as she began to push through the crowd. As the tension began to ease, Jake spotted Dan again, still wringing his hands, where the stormy clouds had followed him inside. Jake approached, this time with an understanding look. "Dan, you alright?" "It's just I never thought it'd come to this," Dan stammered. "I looked up to you, man. But can you really handle this? What if things get worse?" The worry in Dan's voice resonated with Jake. "I don't know if I can, but I need to try. I need you to help me. You know this community, you've got people's trust." Jake's earnestness seemed to reach Dan, who took a shaky breath and nodded. "Okay. I'll help." Together, they gathered volunteers while the sound of rain pounded persistently against the outside walls, an almost hypnotic reminder of the danger still lurking. Minutes passed, yet they felt like an eternity. They started coordinating efforts as families broke into smaller teams. The chaotic noise settled into a rhythm that mirrored the rain, a mixture of shouts, laughs, and the creaking of chairs being moved to create makeshift beds. A gentle tug at his pant leg pulled Jake's attention. Lucy stood there, her wide eyes shimmering like the rain-splattered windows. "Jake! I found my teddy bear," she exclaimed, brandishing the drenched toy triumphantly as if it were a trophy. Her spirit was infectious, drawing smiles even from the most somber souls. "That's fantastic, Lucy. It's going to be a brave teddy," Jake said. "We'll need it to keep everyone calm. You can help with that, can't you?" She nodded fiercely, "I'll make sure everyone is brave." Energized by her enthusiasm, Jake returned to his task, feeling that perhaps he could keep them all afloat. But his thoughts flickered back to the storm beyond the walls. It was still raging, relentless, and the seesaw of winds and worries danced in his mind. Then, a loud crash echoed outside. A flash of lightning split the sky, followed by a rumble that rattled the windows. The room fell silent, breaths caught in collective anticipation. Jake's heart raced anew. What was that? Someone whispered. He wanted to reassure everyone that they had done enough, that they were safe. But the truth loomed like the dark clouds outside. Wasn't he convinced they really were safe? I don't know. Let us check together. But before he could move, a figure emerged in the door, silhouetted by lightning. The crowd gasped as recognition flickered across faces. It was Mary, the town's barely acknowledged emergency officer, known more for her austere demeanor than for compassion. In that moment, he saw not a monster, but a warrior stepping forward against the storm. "What now, Jake?" she asked, her voice strong despite the fear etched on her face. "We need a plan." And there it was, the challenge he feared and the very real moment he needed to embrace. Did he have the strength to reach beyond himself, beyond his doubts? The question hung in the air, charged and terrifying, as they faced the storm's aftermath together. Jake's mind raced. Mary was right, they needed a plan. His heart pounded, having finally found someone who understood the gravity of the situation. "All right," he managed, his voice steadying. "We need to assess the building first. Is everyone okay? Are there injuries?" Mary stepped forward, her sharp gaze surveying the crowd. "Let us split into teams. One group can check on the elderly and children. Another can go outside to see what caused that crash." Jake nodded, grateful for her decisiveness. As the room buzzed with renewed energy, he felt a swell of hope. Maybe they could really get through this together. "I'll handle the elderly and children," he said, raising his voice to cut through the chatter. "Anna, can you lead the team checking for injuries? And Dan, stay close to Mary. Your knowledge about the area will help." "Sure thing," Anna replied, her confidence infectious as she moved into action. Dan glanced at Mary, trying to muster a brave expression, but Jake could still see the fear hiding in his eyes. With his team sorted, Jake turned to the crowd. "Let us group up, everybody. We'll figure this out together. We can't let this storm break us." The enthusiasm spread, faces shifting from fear to determination. As they divided tasks, Lucy tugged his shirt again. "Jake. I can help too." Her eyes sparkled, unaware of the chaos swirling around them. "Of course, you can, Lucy." Jake knelt to meet her gaze. "You can help keep our brave teddy bears organized. Let everyone know they can come find you if they need a bit of comfort." Lucy beamed, already springing into action as she went around the room, holding her damp teddy with pride. "Watch out for the littler ones," he called after her, his heart lightening momentarily as he caught glimpses of hope and community spirit rising from those around him. The thunder boomed again, but it suddenly felt distant. His focus shifted more intensely to getting the details right. As he led a group toward the back of the room where the elderly had gathered, he spotted a familiar face. It was Mrs. Anderson, her frail hands clutching her cane, fear evident in her wide eyes. "Mr. Baker. Is it really as bad as they say?" Her voice trembled, age marred with concern. He knelt before her. "We'll do everything we can to keep you safe. Let us check if anyone needs some water or blankets, okay?" As she nodded, he glanced back toward the main area. Mary was already shifting into high gear, barking orders, yet there was a softness in her leadership style that left Jake surprised. Maybe there was more to her than he had thought. Checking on Mrs. Anderson eased his own rising anxiety. As they found the supplies she needed, another crash echoed from outside. Panic gripped his gut, raising the hairs on the nape of his neck. "Jake!" a voice shouted. It was Dan, stepping through the doorway, drenched but clinging to a missed moment of courage. "We found something." A tree fell across the access road. "We might need to create a pathway." Before he could finish, a scream rang out from the other side of the room. It was young Timmy, clutching his wounds. Panic flared, hearts raced. "Everyone, stay calm," Jake called, pushing the fear back down. "Anna." He dashed over, bending down beside Timmy. In that moment of chaos, Jake felt the weight of 1,000 questions flood his mind. How could they keep everyone safe? What if more storms were coming? What if he wasn't enough? But amid the storm of fears and concerns, tiny hands gripped his arm. It was Lucy. "You can do it, Jake. You're our brave leader," she chirped, her faith like a warm blanket on a frigid night. He swallowed hard, her innocent belief filling him with a sense of purpose. "Thank you, Lucy. We're all brave, together." Right before him was the moment that truly defined a leader. He could either crumble or rally them through this storm. He looked to Dan, then to Mary. "Let us band together. Tell me everything you see out there." As they relayed their findings, he felt a flicker of resolve ignite. He knew what he had to do next, but fear wrapped around him tightly. Just then, another shout rang out. But this time, it wasn't a plea for help. A figure appeared in the doorway, silhouetted yet firm. It was Janet, the town pharmacist, with her medical bag slung over her shoulder. "I'm here to help," she declared, unwavering. But was it even enough? With every new challenge looming, Jake wondered if he would harness the strength to lead them all through. Would he rise above his doubts, or would the storm finally break him? The storm had intensified, but so too had the resolve in the community center. The atmosphere buzzed with a chaotic energy, yet there was an undeniable camaraderie that held everyone together. Jake felt a surge of hope mingled with trepidation as he faced not only the elements outside but also his own insecurities. Janet swept through the crowd, her presence a beacon of calm. "All right, everyone," she called out, her voice loud and steady. "Let us assess who needs immediate medical attention." The way she commanded the room sparked inspiration in Jake. He watched as families rallied together, fear giving way to determination, just as Anna had taught him. The raw energy in the air felt electric. They were fighting not just against the storm, but for each other, their bonds tightening as they shared in that struggle. "We can do this," Jake shouted, raising his hands. "Let us split into groups and tackle this head-on. We'll have one group help Timmy while another checks on the elderly." As they jumped into action, whispers of encouragement rippled through the crowd. Jake felt himself shed the layers of the millionaire monster he had been and step into the shoes of a real leader. His heart swelled with purpose as he knelt beside Timmy, who was being comforted by Anna. "Hey, buddy, you're going to be all right," Jake said, squeezing the boy's shoulder gently. He caught Anna's eye, and in that moment, they both knew they were not alone. They were part of something bigger, a community that would band together no matter the storm. Minutes turned into an hour, yet every moment felt charged with urgency. They worked through injuries and discomfort with a fierce determination, each task threading them closer together. Each giggle from Lucy and the reassuring words from Anna fueled him. As the rain continued to lash against the building, sounds of the outside world blurred into the background. The harsh wind screamed, mocking their efforts, yet the voices inside the center sang with hope. Laughter began to seep into their conversations, a sign that perhaps, they were weathering this storm together after all. "Jake, you're doing great. Look how they're rallying around you," Anna called out, her eyes sparkling brightly amid the chaos. He caught her smile, radiant as a beacon, igniting something within him. The rain intensified once more, and suddenly, another crash erupted. Jake's heart leaped into his throat. He turned to Dan, who appeared at his side, eyes wide with concern. "We need to check the access road," Dan reported. "The tree collapse could be worse than we thought." There may be more danger out there than we anticipated. Jake caught his breath, feeling the weight of each decision he had to make. We can't ignore it. People might need rescuing. But we can't leave anyone behind either, he said, every word measured with intent, the responsibility settling heavily on his shoulders. Let us take a few of us to investigate. Gather a team. I'll stay here and help with the kids and elderly, Anna offered. The fear in her eyes mirrored his anxiety, but there was something empowering about her resolve. All right, he affirmed, gathering courage. Let us find out what we're dealing with. As the teams formed, Jake felt a newfound strength surging through him. He was not just leading now, this was teamwork. He turned to Lucy one last time. Stay with Anna, okay? Encourage everyone, just like you've inspired me. I will. I'm our brave cheerleader. She announced, striding with warmth and spirit as he stepped outside into the raging storm. With each step he took, the rain pelted him, but the discomfort seemed insignificant compared to the surge of purpose within. As they reached the road, they saw the fallen tree, its massive body blocking the only entrance from the community center to the main road. Do you think we can clear it? One of the volunteers asked, uncertainty creeping into their voice. Jake squared his shoulders, adrenaline coursing through him. We have to try. Together, we can do anything. With gritted teeth and a newfound sense of unity, they began to work. It was backbreaking labor, demanding each ounce of their collective strength. They pulled, pushed, and strategized. Each foot of progress they made consumed their doubts. Jake felt the storm challenge him, yet with each layer of struggle shed, he could feel his own insecurities begin to unfurl. Come on. One more push. He shouted, rallying them as the branches creaked and groaned. They began to see a glimmer of hope, the outline of a possible opening through the fallen mass. Finally, with one last united effort, the tree shifted and rolled aside, revealing the road beyond. Cheers erupted from the group, and Jake felt the adrenaline surge, filling him with a radiant sense of accomplishment. Looking at his fellow community members, Jake caught Anna's eye. The pride in her gaze was unmistakable. They had done this together, facing the storm and each other's vulnerabilities with courage and buoyancy. But even as the exhaustion settled in, a renewed determination sparked inside him. He was not just a millionaire lost in his own world, he was part of something profound. He had chosen compassion over indifference, allowing the light of the community to break through the cold walls he had built around himself. And now, a voice cut through the moment, and Jake turned back to the road. Now we help anyone who needs it, together. He declared, determination ringing in his voice as they marched forward, ready to face whatever lay ahead. They were a team. No storm could break them now. As they stepped forward, renewed in spirit, even the rain seemed to lighten and, for the first time, he felt not just relief, but joy spread through Maplewood. It was a transformation, a shift from isolation to connection, from heartlessness to heartwarming truth. Jake wasn't just stepping outside his past, he was stepping into a future brighter than any skyscraper could touch. As he grinned at Anna, a real smile, not one masked by his old pretense, the sky began to part, a glimmer of sunlight dazzling through the clouds. It was the dawn of something new. And they would face it together. It was just the beginning of their united story. So here's where you come in. You need to subscribe now to join us for more exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to keep this community thriving in the algorithm. We want to hear from you. Comment below your thoughts about this transformative journey. And don't wait not even one more second to share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Your engagement helps us create more powerful stories together.